All right. So, officially, welcome everybody. We're so excited for you to join us this evening. My name is Chantel Freeman with the Office of Student Involvement, and I'm so excited to be with you all here as we explore the Leads Conference topic of AI, seizing new career opportunities in the age of innovation. So, Haley Grenier from the Student Accessibility Services is also joining me. You may see her in the chat. She's facilitating as well. And before we have the pleasure of introducing you to your fabulous speaker for this session, we're just going to review a few housekeeping items for tonight. So, next slide, please. So here you'll see the SNHU access and accommodations information, which just serves as a reminder for everybody in terms of the resources available for our community members. And additionally, Teams has some really great accessibility functions. So there is a live captioning feature. So you can find that by clicking on the More button on your Microsoft Teams navigation bar. You can select language and speech and then select show live captions. And that's how you'll enable that. You can also magnify the slides being shared tonight. So you can navigate to the bottom left window where you're going to see the little share slides and you'll see a plus and minus icon. And that's how you'll be able to magnify those. And we'll switch to the next slide here. I'll pass it to Haley, let you know a little bit more what to expect.
Hi, everyone. So just a few housekeeping items. Your microphone and camera are not enabled at this time. Your microphone will remain muted to reduce background noise, which ironically, you might hear my two children screaming right now. Fingers crossed you don't. The chat will be available during the presentation as you guys have been jumping in. You're welcome to engage with, but we do encourage rather you to wait on your questions for the presenter for our Q&A at the end. They won't necessarily be monitoring the chat as we go along. We also ask that you be kind. We're all here to learn, engage, and be with community. Please do not photograph, screenshot, or record anyone in attendance. And we ask that you also refrain from sharing any offensive content or using inappropriate language. And we appreciate your cooperation with this. And lastly, this webinar is being recorded. There's no obligation to use the chat. And as previously stated, your camera and microphone are off for this session. And we can go to the next slide.
And I get the great pleasure of introducing you to your speaker tonight. So this is Sonia. So Sonia is a career engagement partner and business adjunct instructor who teaches HRM 300 here at SNHU. She has worked at SNHU for 9 years and is a strategic partner to the business and liberal arts deans and university stakeholders. And her work includes incorporating career planning and skill-based competencies into the business curriculum and overseeing the planning of experiential learning opportunities. She is a content creator, developer, and administrator for SNHU's new virtual career center called Career 360. And Sonia earned her certificate in AI Essentials for Business at Harvard Business School Online. Sonia maintains that as AI continues to reshape industries rather, job functions, and create new career paths, students really should understand what their chosen career path may look like down the line. By knowing what their career looks like now versus what it could look like by the time they graduate, they won't be blindsided by AI's impact, but ready to meet those changes head on. So without further ado, I would love to turn the microphone over in the virtual floor to your wonderful presenter, Sonia. So Sonia, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I just want to make sure that the sound is on our video here because it's really important that you can hear the video. So I'm going to start to reshare the screen here. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. Let me know, Chantel. All right. Hello. Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to AI Seizing New Career Opportunities in the Age of Innovation. And as mentioned, my name is Sonia Moffett. I'm so happy that you were able to be here this evening. Before we get started, I want to do a little bit of an icebreaker and learn a little bit more about you. And so in the chat box, I am going to upload a series of things. And the first thing you'll see is a Mentimeter link, or you can use your telephone. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the next slide. And on that slide, there will be a QR code that you can scan. All right. And when you are able to get on feel free to vote. But if you're trying to figure out, well, what does this all mean? I'd like to take a moment to explain it all. All right, so what we're looking at is as you take time to get the poll and everything pulled up, I want to explain that there's something called a technology adoption life cycle, which is a framework that describes how different groups of people adopt to new technology, like AI. And it categorizes users into 5 stages, okay? That'll be innovators, and these are the first people to adopt a new technology, often technology enthusiasts who are willing to take risks and experiment with new products. Then you have your early adopters, and these are visionaries who see the potential of new technologies and are willing to adopt to them earlier. And they often influence others in their network. Then you have the early majority, and this group adopts new technologies after the early adopters, and often after they see the benefits. They want to know this thing is really going to work for us and the reliability of that technology from others. So they want other people to jump in the pool to see if it's too cold first. And then you have your late majority. They are more skeptical and they adopt new technologies, but only after they become mainstream and are more widely accepted. And then finally, you have laggards. I don't really like that word, so I'm going to call them skeptics. I don't know, laggards just sounds not good. But these are the last to adopt to new technologies and often restraint. They use a little restraint and only adopt them when they're forced to do so. All right. So now that you know what these mean, I want to pull up the results. You can go ahead and start voting just in case you need to understand, well, how do I see myself in as I'm thinking about this? Where do I fit into this? And so you all are in the room. Look at you. I love this. All right. Wow, we have a lot of early adopters and early majority. This is great. A few laggards. You know what? But this is SNHU, so of course I expect you all to be in the top 3 of these because this is what we're all about here at SNHU. But for our laggards, or I'm going to call you skeptics because I don't like that word. I don't know why I don't like that word. It just sounds a horrible word. And late majority. Let's see how we can change maybe your perspectives by the end of today's presentation. But look at that. That is absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for participating in today's poll. It gives me a great idea of who I'm talking to, and I really do appreciate us breaking the ice today. So what are we going to do? Well, I hope that you continue to participate as we go forward because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to debunk some myths about AI. Then we're going to look at the impact on current employment trends. Then we're going to look at leveraging AI for research, and that could be for your business or for your career. You can use it interchangeably, but you can also use it in other ways for other areas of your life. It's transferable skill. So we'll go through that and prompting. And then finally, we'll talk about career planning in the age of AI or the age of innovation. So let's move forward here. Sometimes there's going to be a little bit of a delay. But you may be wondering, and everybody is lately, will AI eliminate my job or my future job prospects? And there are many myths. So let's debunk some of the myths that may be on the mind of skeptics. And this creates a lot of fear and uncertainty and anxiety in people, like our friend here. She is wondering the same thing. So let's help her to consider some things to put her mind at ease. All right, so common myths about AI and the job market that career changers should be aware of. The first one is AI will eliminate all jobs. Well, the reality is that AI is transforming jobs, not just eliminating them. While some tasks may be automated, AI is also creating new roles and new industries. So that's one thing you can be excited about if you're prepared. The next one is that only tech professionals can benefit from AI. It is currently impacting all areas of our lives, right? So in the chat, if you want to, you can name some of the AI tools that you're currently using and some of the new ones that are coming out. And as you see this evolve, it really should spark some fire in you that this isn't going to take your job. The reality is that even if you are not a tech professional, AI is impacting all industries, including marketing, healthcare, finance, HR, customer service, you name it. Non technical professionals can leverage AI tools to enhance their work. And then the next one is AI tools require a computer science degree. It's not true. Many AI related skills, such as prompt engineering, data analysis, and AI ethics, can be learned through online courses that we have attached to our LinkedIn Learning tool on Career 360 and other boot camps without a formal tech education. And of course, SNHU does have some classes that you can take as well to fortify those skills. So there's something to think about. Let's look at a couple more. AI makes job searching impersonal. Well, the reality is that AI powered tools can help job seekers by improving resume optimization, tailoring job recommendations, and enhancing networking opportunities on platforms like LinkedIn. And if you are on LinkedIn, you're probably noticing that sometimes the algorithms will pull in jobs that align with your experience that you've stated on your profiles, which is why it's so important to optimize your LinkedIn profiles. But you can work with your career advisor more on that. But it does help to enhance those opportunities for networking and for those job leads that you see there. Then finally, our fifth one is AI generated resumes and cover letters are enough to get hired. Well, while AI can assist in crafting applications, personalization and human insight are still going to be essential for standing out to employers. And the other thing is that the humanistic part of this is important. The AI isn't just sitting there spitting things out. You literally have to go in and tell it what you want. The other thing that you want to do when you're asking the AI to answer a question is tell the AI who it is. AI, you're a career advisor or a career consultant, and I'm wondering how can I break into my career if I've been working in this other career? What skills, knowledge, and capabilities and competencies are they looking for? How can I get these things? So tell the AI who it is before you ask the question. And you also want to remember to check the validity of the data, but we'll get into that in a second. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But it looks like our friend here has considered some of the perspectives and is feeling a little more comfortable with the idea that AI isn't going to eliminate her future job prospects. Her AI adoption life cycle has shifted a bit, slightly over to a more conservative view, but she needs more information to make it make sense. And as leaders, it is imperative that you validate all information you hear, whether you happen to be on the AI, whatever part of this continuing you have to happen to be, even if you're an early adapter, you do want to validate the information that you're receiving. So now let's get into the data because this is extremely important as you're looking at some of the output, which is what the AI is going to give you if you're in a chat bot like Chat GPT, for example, or Gemini. There are many others, but this is why you need to conduct research and understand the importance of the data as it relates to AI and its impact on current employment trends. Because if you understand that, then you're going to understand, am I spending my time wisely as I'm completing my degree? Am I prepared to go into the workforce? Because with the advancement in AI, there are different software applications that might take some of those that automate some tools or automate some processes in businesses that may change how your current job looks. It may look a little differently when you graduate. So it's good to have that prior insight. Now, before I dive into AI and its impact on the employment trends, I wanted to preface this next part of this presentation with where the data presented today comes from, okay? Some of you have already probably heard about the World Economic Forum. You probably hear it on the news. As stated here, on their website. They bring together government, businesses, and civil society to improve the state of the world. This presentation is not going to be about the forum, though, but the fact that they conduct a great deal of research and collect copious amounts of data as it relates to the global economy. So, why should you care? Well, let's face it, with the convergence of the distributed workforce, with technological advancements like AI, the future workforce is about to transform in ways we can only imagine. And that's not a bad thing always. And in anticipation for this transformation, the goal of this presentation is to prepare you, come what may. According to the WEF, which is the World Economic Forum, and you might hear me refer to it as that going forward, Artificial intelligence is rife with contradictions. It is a powerful tool that is also surprisingly limited in terms of its capabilities. And while it has the potential to improve human existence, at the same time, it threatens to deepen social divides and put millions of people out of work. And you're thinking, well, Sonia, what are we doing here? Well, we're here to take it from that negative perspective and get you prepared, because it's good to know what the potential is, because you can't solve a problem that you don't know exists, or if you don't understand why it exists. And you don't know how to come up with a new innovative, and a lot of you are innovators. You don't know how to come up with a solution unless you understand what the problem is. So that's why we want to talk about this as well. We want to put it right out there. With its inner workings, our highly technical and non technical people among us should understand the basic principles of how AI works and the concerns that it raises. As the influence and impact of AI spreads, it will be critical to involve people and experts from the most diverse backgrounds possible in guiding this technology in ways that enhance human capabilities and lead to positive outcomes. So that's where we want to leave it on this one. We have to understand it to be those problem solvers that you all are. So, according to their study, conducted with employers around the world, and that happened this year in February, in various business sectors, the top three transformational trends impacting these industries are broadening digital access that people have, also advancement in technologies, particularly AI and information processing. Every single business sector has to process information. And then robotics and automation. So if you are in those fields, it will impact there. And so these three trends are expected to have a divergent impact on the jobs now and into the future, driving both the fastest growing and the fastest declining roles. So it's good to know what those are before you take all of this time to go into something. You want to know, what does that job look like now? How is AI going to impact this career path, and what can I do to position myself as an SME and to learn as much as I can so that I can be of value to whatever company hires me in the future. That's how you want to think about this thing. And fueling demand for technology related skills in whatever industry that you plan to work in. AI and technological literacy are coveted skills that will set you apart in an interview process, and be able to articulate and demonstrate your technological literacy. And doing that will position you to seize the new career opportunities as AI continues to rapidly change business operations, productivity, operational efficiency, etc. in your field. This is why it's important for you to understand the data, to be able to forecast market behaviors, to know when to pivot your company's business strategy so that it can withstand the ebbs and the flows of the economy and advancements in technology and other market factors that may not be controllable. Your ability to be agile and flex with those changes is going to make you of value to any organization. And as leaders, it's your responsibility to be able to use data and technology to solve business problems and create successful outcomes for your future organizations, or maybe in your current one. So you're probably asking yourself, well, what type of professional development can I start to work on to integrate AI and technical skills into my professional toolkit while I invest in my education so that I can be proactive about my career plan? I'm going to show you how to research and use the results to understand what is desired in your field in a minute. We're going to go through that exercise so that you can learn those skill sets as you leave this. For now, consider this. Here are the fastest growing jobs and the fastest declining jobs according to the WEF. I just want you to take a second to look at that, think about that, and remember, all companies, hospitals, we talked about it before, marketing, any business sector, they're all based on technology. That's where their CRMs, it's where their business processes are, their human capital management systems. All of this stuff is data driven. And so it is relevant to you. It's relevant to your job, no matter what your chosen profession is. All right. So Armed with this data, you don't have to enter the workforce without prior knowledge. Understanding the data will help you to be proactive about what skills you need to seize new career opportunities and be more competitive in your job search. So, if you're wondering where to find the data related to your specific profession or industry, you do have options. In addition to the World Economic Forum, you can visit the website of professional associations related to your career path for data. You can visit your desired employer's website. You can also subscribe to trade publications, online newsletters, or attend conferences that are unique to your industry or role. And this is how you can stand out as a candidate who has the degree and also can demonstrate your knowledge, skills, and abilities in an interview setting by asking intelligent questions about the company based on your research, um, talking about how the market is impacting them and how AI has transformed their business based upon your research. You can ask questions about that because this is what the interview process is. It's a conversation. They're trying to get to know you. And with that knowledge comes that power, comes, oh, this person's really knowledgeable. You're going to stand out. Other people are going to have the same degree as you, but what's going to make you different? You learned a lot of things yesterday and today. So these are all the things that are going to differentiate you. Also, you're going to be able to, that would make you a great way to segue into your use of particular industry software that they use. And this is how you can make a great impression upon an employer. So, this is why you need to conduct research and the importance of the data as it relates to AI and its impact on current trends. So now let's talk about that third option I talked about earlier, which is our Career 360 website here at SNHU. So we're going to demonstrate what I mean. And Career 360 is SNHU's online virtual career center. And you can visit the program page to navigate to various resources on this site. You can find the data you need to understand what tech skills, software, certifications, or other micro credentials that will complement your degree and be relevant to your future employer by industry. Again, you might be in an interview process where other people have the same degree as you. These are going to be the differentiators. So by doing this, you can learn those tools while you are a student. And that is how you'll be able to wow your interview and demonstrate the skills. Also through some of the experiential learning programs that you can see on this website under the featured jobs, feature internships, and gain experience tabs at the top there in blue. So if you're looking at that, these are the ways that you'll be able to wow your employers. As we looked at the accounting page on Career 360 as an example, you can use your SNHU email to access LinkedIn Learning for free. So if you look at that tab at the top, you'll see LinkedIn Learning. You don't have to pay for that. If you're utilizing your SNHU email, you're going to have access to stuff that other people have to pay for. Whatever method of research you choose, knowledge is power. What you do with what you know can make a huge difference in the decisions that you make as you're completing your degree. And I want to encourage you all to fortify your professional toolkit with industry knowledge and technical skill development, understanding how to leverage AI for problem solving. Now, as you're looking at this, you're looking at some prompts here. How will AI impact accounting in the next 5 years? Substitute accounting for your particular profession. In addition to that, what type of roles are there going to be based upon the changes that AI brings about? And so you can ask it that in terms of prompting. So, will AI reduce the workforce? And then, how likely is my job going to change in the next 5 years? You want to know that because at some point in the next 5 years, you're going to graduate and you don't want to be blindsided by those changes. I like this one for accounting because it's talking about what the current role looks like and what the job will look like going forward for accountants. So this website again is our Career 360 website, and you can go on there and look at your own programs and learn more. Okay. So let's see how prompting works and how you can leverage AI chatbots to conduct research. I want you to listen carefully to the next video. It's going to be about 5 minutes long, but it's going to teach you how to do this type of prompting and also how to validate the output. So you can leverage it Google, ChatGPT, Gemini, any of them, or any of the chatbot to locate this information. This is going to be on Career 360, so you'll be able to click on this, and I will also have this information in the chatbot at chatbot in the chat after the presentation. But this is called Coco, which is integrated into Handshake. And if all of you are familiar with Handshake, if you're not and you're a student, become familiar. This is where our employer partners will post jobs and internship opportunities, and our employer relations team also has a lot of wonderful events that they do with employer partners. So if you haven't plugged into this yet, please do at your convenience. But right now, we're going to look at the chat feature within Handshake. And this is going to show you how to use the AI to assist you with learning how to navigate career paths. And this is just one example of how you can leverage AI in your research efforts. I want you to listen carefully, and now I'm going to play the video. Okay, so AI is a great place to start your research, as you can see, not to plagiarize, but to strategize. You always want to verify where the AI is pulling its data from, as mentioned in the video. So ask the AI to cite its sources and then fact check the output. This is a critical part of the work that you do to make sure that you're validating the information, because there are things called hallucinations in data, and sometimes the output will create a professional association, which is why the landscaper needed to make sure that this actually existed. Okay. Your strategy can then become a derivative of what you've learned once you've validated that information and you glean that it is accurate. Now, let me ask you guys, this is your turn. We don't have to go to Coco right now. I just want to check in the chat box, do a temperature check. Now that you've seen how to leverage AI in your research efforts, just with this one example, let me ask you, how could you use it for strategic problem solving in your current job or in your future job? And in essence, what I'm looking for is, what prompt would you want to ask the AI to learn more about your specific industry? You can go ahead and throw some prompts into the chat box. It would be interesting to see what you all have. All right. Repeat the question. Okay. What would you ask ChatGPT for your job search or for your business, or to learn more about how you can prepare yourself for the future of your specific profession? I love these answers. Freelance jobs make the most money for writers. Okay. Love it. Average competitive rates. And I love that too. Yeah, ask about compensation. Why not? Especially you want to make sure that you're thinking geographically. So just like with the person in this case study, the landscaper, they were in Phoenix, Arizona. They wanted to find out, is there a chapter in my local area? So you can localize that. That is great. Average, let's see, screenwriting. Yeah, I went to a film festival recently, and I'm saying recently, but really it was last summer, April. And they have this organization in Atlanta, and it's WIFTA, and it's Women in Film and something. Anyway, they were talking about building a budget for a movie, and I'm like, well, how do you build a budget for a movie? Do you guys have like a template for that? And so they didn't. And so I got curious, and I just went back to Chat GPT and I said, hey, Chat GPT, if I want to put together a budget for a movie, how would I do it? What would it look like? Oh, could you put it in put it into an Excel format so that I can drop it into Excel? So you can be very, very specific about that. What are some certifications and skills that would be helpful? Yes, love that. Let's see. And oh, okay, Andrea, you said that's your problem, going from minimum wage to employee degree holder. Yes. understand what that job pays. It's so important. And yes, you can go to salary.com, you can go to Glassdoor. Right now, there's a big push in HR for what they call pay transparency. So you're probably going to start to see more jobs that are going to post the actual pay ranges on those. And again, huge advocate for LinkedIn. It is such a powerful tool. So, Andrea, you can meet, and all of you, you can meet with a career advisor. This is free. It's free in a lifetime for all of you. Call up career services and talk to them. They can help you with everything from resumes, cover letters, mock interviews to doing this type of research. But if you can't get them because they're closed, this is another option for you. All right. Thank you so much. I won't be able to get through all of them, but I thank you so much for the engagement. This is absolutely wonderful. I heard that it was going to be this great. So thank you guys so much.
And
All
start
right.
your journey no matter what profession or industry you're in. Try Coco.
That's right. All right. So uh, we know, according to the WEF, hard skills like AI, data analytics top the list of the fastest growing skills, right? We know that all of those administrative and support type jobs, they're going to become automated. And so those jobs are going to start to dwindle away. Um, Other things that are coveted by some of these companies that were interviewed were networking and cybersecurity, as well as just technical literacy in general. But there is more to it than the hard skills like research, data analytics, and AI competencies, right? So I don't want to end this information session today without addressing additional critical skills that they came up with in their research that is going to be that you're going to need going forward into the global workforce comprised of individuals from various countries and industries because of technology. Now everyone in the world has, well, a lot of people in the world have access to technology, and access to the world economy has made our world a lot smaller and much more diverse. So for you to fully understand the impact that will have on the future of work as it relates to you seizing those new career opportunities that we're talking about today in the age of innovation, there are some characteristics that you may want to integrate into your professional toolkit as you move forward, because the WEF study we reviewed also revealed that employers surveyed are also seeking critical soft skills from prospective employees. This is a global consensus from majority of employers that were surveyed, and these represent employers from all over the world. That's how important it was. So let's think about this journey of ours. When we did that exercise just a second ago on prompting, right? AI chatbots and verifying the validity of the output, you actively demonstrated the top skills that employers are looking for, and that is analytical thinking. So well done, everybody. You successfully passed mile marker one, but your career journey will continue beyond a prompt. It is a journey that will take you places that you may not ever imagined you to go. So don't limit yourself, literally. This is not the time for that. I mean, the world has got so much smaller. There's nothing that you can't do if you put your mind to it. All right. Be willing to try new technologies or go work in a city or a country that you never worked in before if you're able. It is your call, of course, but I want to encourage you to remain flexible, because with the ever evolving nature of our domestic and global economy and technology and the impact that AI is having on business processes, you need to be ready to seize those new opportunities on the horizon. That's why you're here, and you're doing this while you're completing your degree. And maybe some of you have already completed your degree. It's not too late. Let's be proactive, because once that shift happens, you're going to be able to make that pivot because you're going to be agile in your movement professionally. You want to be ready to pivot in your given industry. But more important than knowing what to do and how to do it is your character, your personal brand. Now, yesterday, Julie and Chris did a fantastic presentation on growing your personal brand. I loved it. It's recorded as a part of the Leads conference, just in case you missed it. I highly recommend, when you get a chance to go back, if you haven't already seen it, go back and look at that presentation. It was phenomenal. All of these were, but this one ties into this particular part of my presentation. You see, your success is not just about what you know and who you know or who knows you and how many degrees you may obtain. And let me be clear about something as I say that, working in higher education, because Your degree is as vital, it's extremely vital as it validates your intellectual competence, and it is a KPI, a key performance indicator of your probability for success on the job, especially in specialized roles. With it, you are establishing a firm foundation rooted in research, strategy, problem solving, and knowledge that you would not have had if you did not go to college. So you work hard to obtain it, continue to work hard, but add some things to your professional toolkit. This degree you have or will obtain is indeed the qualifier for the career you desire. And you're going to need your degree to establish a baseline of what you bring to the table. It establishes your knowledge, fortitude, discipline, reliability, and that you can learn anything on your career journey. You can go on to learn from seasoned professionals, grow your career, and maybe even lead teams. And this is why your degree is critically important to your ability to transform your life and the life of your family. But as our colleagues said yesterday, and they touched upon that personal brand, the longevity and impact that you'll have in your career journey is also about who you are, how you think. What are your values and beliefs, and how do they impact your professionalism in the workplace, right? So, how many of you have worked with brilliant people who are not very pleasant to work with? Well, we all have been there at some point, right? But your career success is not about those people. It's about your value proposition and what you bring to the table in addition to your brilliant mind. Think about this. People with the same degree will have the same knowledge. But what's the differentiator? You are. What will make you stand out in the rooms that you will eventually occupy beyond your graduation? These are all hypothetical questions, but just food for thought. The employers at the World Economic Forum this past February want to know, what do you bring to the table in addition to your degree and tech skills? Do you collaborate well? Are you influential? Are you agile when it comes to change? How do you navigate the situations and circumstances you encounter? The ones that you can't control, the ones that might be a little scary. These are the attributes that speak volumes about your work ethic and character. And of course, are you ethical? Because AI can have people who are using it for the wrong purpose. Like we talked about at the top, plagiarism. We don't want to use it to plagiarize. You want to use it to strategize as a basis of your own thought, right? As that framework to say, okay, that makes sense. How can I apply this knowledge to this thing, to this project, to this solution that I'm coming up with? So, are you the problem solver? This is what they want to know. Are you reactive or proactive? And do you have emotional intelligence? As mentioned, according to the WEF, analytical thinking remains the most sought after core skill among all of those employers globally, with 7 out of 10 companies considering it as essential in 2025 as it will be going forward. This is followed by resilience, flexibility, agility, leadership, social influence, creative thinking, curiosity, and lifelong learning. So that's something you definitely want to continue to do. Be a lifelong learner, even beyond your degree, because these are the things that are going to help you make those companies you work for very successful. I hope that this presentation will prepare you to navigate your way through the organizational and societal changes as AI continues to evolve and shake up business operations across these sectors. You are all obtaining the knowledge to pursue your desired degrees as students and alumni. And now you know how to leverage AI and perform research to understand the market trends and their impact on your profession down the line. And you know how to validate the information that you collect and use it to inspire strategies that can produce successful business outcomes. And of course, you will possess all of the personal attributes and influence to influence and successfully lead others along their career journey. So, it is my hope that as you take knowledge from this presentation and others that you've experienced during the Leads Conference to become the best version of yourself, that you are able to meet the desires of companies like those surveyed by the WEF. It is also my hope that this presentation has eased your mind a little bit about whether AI will eliminate jobs, right? And maybe someone's AI adoption has shifted slightly along the continuum. And if not, I do encourage you to research more since we cannot solve all of the world's problems in 1 hour. Concern, everybody, concern is normal. And AI will eliminate some jobs as we learned earlier and as we can see now. But it will also create new opportunities for those who are well prepared, like you, with the knowledge, skills, and abilities to seize the new emerging career opportunities in the age of innovation. I want to thank you for being here and going on this journey with me. So I will send it over to Chantel.
Fantastic. Such a great place to stop there today. And so many wonderful participation, so much wonderful participation in the chat too. We're seeing,
Awesome.
as you can probably see, Sonia, so many hearts and applause for you and all
Thank
the
you.
information. Yeah. Snaps for sure.
Oh,
So at
thank
this
you.
time, yeah, we'll open it up for some questions. I know we've been kind of sourcing a few as they came in. Um, so this one's really fabulous. So let's start with this one. So someone has asked, with AI being a consistent learning agent, how do we contain ethical views and weed out biases for some of the resources that we're using in terms of the AI pieces?
I love that question because it's so important. Thank you for whoever asked that question. I think it is about the user, right? Because again, the AI is not just going to do anything, right? But if you're receiving answers from the AI, from the output that you're getting from any prompts that you've put into it, and there are biases, tell the AI. This is called training the AI, right? But one of the things I also want to make sure that I stress is don't put any personal identifiers, such as your name or the name of a company or anything like that. Keep it broad. So that way, too, you won't have any biases because you're not putting anything in there that can grab from the large language models that it's pulling from that could create any bias. So you want to be strategic about the information that you're putting into your prompt, but don't put any personalized identifiers. That's one way that you can mitigate some of the biases. There are some tools out there, other types of chat bots that you can utilize, like Latimer. So there are some other ones out there that do take that into consideration. Thank you so much for that question. And if you have any other questions, feel free to put it in the chat box. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and Jillian, you had a really great point too. Is AI is a tool, right? It's a resource, not necessarily a solution, but just something that you can use for your discovery process and your
Yes,
research as you're kind of going along. So such an important note there.
that's right. Thank you, Jillian.
So yeah, so another question. So this is maybe a large question, but seeing how you feel about it.
Okay.
But does SNHU take into consideration all the changes AI will make when creating their degree programs, and will the grads of today be prepared for the tomorrow of AI, do you think?
Absolutely. We are an innovative university. Whoever asked that question, we are on it. That's why we do things like the Leads Conference. That's why we had the AI Summit. That's why you see AI competencies coming up in our Career 360 page. And we're going to continue to bring forth the latest and greatest information for you as students. So, yes, we are definitely looking at that. When we go under program reviews, our deans and our instructional designers and curriculum developers are talking to what they call SMEs, subject matter experts, who work in the field so that we are getting that voice. We're getting those insights from people who are working in field. We have advisory boards. And then of course, we're connected within different associations ourselves. So yes, we are a university that is built on research, and that's why we teach it to you. We value it. And absolutely, yes, we are doing that. We are being very proactive about that in your job search. Thank you for asking, and in your education.
Absolutely. Immersing, if you will, in AI.
Yes,
I
yes.
love that. So someone also has asked, do you feel like schools and colleges will begin to have a different relationship with AI? It sounds like SNHU has definitely been a sort of a leader in the forefront there, but do you feel like schools and colleges in general will have different relationships with AI?
I think that I can't speak for all of them, but I believe that all industries, as we mentioned, we saw with the WEF, right? We saw their studies. It's going to impact everybody. There is a site called the Higher Education Recruitment Consortium. Then there's Inside Higher Ed. If you guys go and look at those sites, there's a lot of data out there on education and educators and how it's impacting us. So absolutely, this is not going anywhere. And so for people who are, leaders have to be on top of it, whether they like it or dislike it, they have to face it. I always say avoidance is not resolution. And so even if you don't like AI, we have to face it. And good organizations like SNHU are certainly on the forefront of that. And it is a conversation in higher education. Yes, indeed.
I feel like I just got another nugget here of avoidance is not resolution. That is such a powerful statement. I
Oh,
love
thank you.
that. And we know, given that everybody that had done all the different voting, we have different levels of comfort here, right? So, but
Yes.
it's like you said, starting even somewhere just small, like all of the different resources that you sort of gave today. So hopefully someone can just start somewhere, and
Yeah,
then kind
start.
of let that little seed grow, that AI seed grow.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
thank you. Okay, so let's see. So this is a question I think some of it that you referred to, but if you have any expansion. So what AI resources are sort of the preferred resources that students should take advantage of to help with their education?
I think that that is a personal question because it really is dependent upon that individual, what their career path is. I'm going to go with a case study, right? So we had Adobe Creative Suite, right? So you have something like Adobe Photoshop, for example. I'm just going to use this as an example, and I hope this example helps you. Um, and so people who are learning that, then you have people who are in other programs. And so the creative supports communication, or creative supports advertising, or it supports marketing features. And so people might go to Canva and start using Canva instead of using Adobe. And I was one of those people. I was one of the people who was skilled in Photoshop. And there, when you're doing any type of revisions, or you're looking any type of photo or any graphic that you're creating, to make changes, to cut people out. I mean, it would just take so long. It was so manual. And you can go into Canva, plop the picture in and say erase background, and it's done in seconds. That is the power of AI. And I know it impacted. Now, I don't know Adobe personally, but I heard. And as a user, the CS suite, I started to notice they started to put AI tools within their platform because they're like, oh no, we're losing our market share to Canva and these other sites and resources. So I hope that this answers. This is an individual choice. The tool that you use really depends on what profession are you in, right? If you're in healthcare, there might be robotics that are involved. So that's a whole different thing. You're not a technologist, you are maybe a surge tech, and you have to do something with surgery, and you're supporting doctors that do that. Maybe you're a nurse and there's a new process and procedure. Maybe there's a new software at work as a nurse or some healthcare, because you can literally go to the professional association related to your specific profession, and start looking at those professional associations. I mentioned that earlier, so you will know which software they're utilizing, and you can dive deeper. Once you know that, you can go to the website of that particular software, and if you want to learn it, maybe go to LinkedIn Learning and type it into that search. Now that you know, I'm saying Tableau just because it popped into my head, and that's not healthcare, but Tableau, which is a database, right? So then you can go in and type that in. How do I use Tableau? Now, LinkedIn Learning, because it's free to you, because you're an SNHU student, you can learn it while you're finishing your degree here. So hopefully that answered your question. What AI tools you use really is contingent upon what field you're in. Okay.
So important. And like you said, trying out a few. And it's
Yeah.
such a great guidance, like you mentioned, that wherever you're hoping to get into in terms of the field is a really
Yeah.
good way to kind of research those professional industries and see what those maybe are using. So
And I can't believe, Chantal, I can't believe I didn't say, ask the chat bot.
it's
Ask
very true.
and verify, right? Because it's going out and it's scrubbing the internet, scrubbing all of these other, it's scrubbing everything. It's scrubbing every type of database. But as you ask, tell it who it is. You're a career consultant for people who are going into blank industry. I want to know, what are the top 10 software applications that are being utilized in my field, and cite your sources. Say it to the AI. So when you get that output or you get the results of that prompt, now you not only have it, but now you can go research and validate it. All right. Just wanted to throw that part in.
Yes, and it actually piggybacks off some of the earlier questions that we had gotten, which was like, how do I do this for creative writing? How do I do this for psychology? But exactly like you mentioned, and thinking about asking from the prompt's perspective, like in this field,
Yes.
what would I be looking for? So that's so important.
You guys are on with me. So I have some inside information as one of the developers on Career 360. We are about to release a prompt library for all of you. So go ahead and bookmark Career 360 because we are going to have an AI prompt library. We're going to include that video so you're privy to that early just because you're here. This is SNHU. Let's go, Penman. All right, sorry.
Love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, we don't have any more questions, but I think this one was really funny. And I think, it speaks to maybe where people started, as you mentioned in the beginning of your presentation versus the end, as like, we should do that poll again. Because I think some people have found themselves moving from the role in terms of how their comfort level went. So that's a
We
really
could
great
do it.
sign.
Do you guys want to do it? Let's see in the chat box. What are they saying in the chat? Are they saying they want to go ahead and try to do this? I'm interested. I love the pre and post. I love a good pre and post data set. Yes. Let me take a, I'm gonna screenshot this so I don't lose it because I'm gonna have to wipe out all of the responses. So I'm going to take a screenshot of that. And if anybody wants to stick around for a few minutes while I get this cleaned out, I could take a couple more questions if they come up while I'm cleaning out this data. Let me know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think mostly just in terms of making sure that people are feeling comfortable, like you mentioned, just share. There was a lot of wonderful resource sharing here. Some folks that are really comfortable
Love that.
using it and like in terms of sharing what they use, which has been really wonderful. Again, this community, unlike any other. Just looking at all these comments here, y'all are crazy. Just lovely.
I love
Uh,
it. All right, I'm gonna clear this out then. Okay, now it wants to cut. All right, let's go ahead and cut and let's stop embarrassing me in front of everybody. Okay, here we go. You guys, I'm a little silly and it's the end and I don't have to be nervous anymore. So let me go in and what I'm going to do is, oh, by the way, this is a great resource. We were talking about the World Economic Forum. I'm going to drop this into the chat box. That way you can go and dive into your specific what they call domain, your work domain. They're all around this wheel, and you select whichever one you're in, and you can dive into it deeply. All right, so let me clear out the results. I know I'm talking and I'm trying to do this at the same time, and just give me a couple more seconds. Any other questions while you all are waiting on me to finish
let's
dilly
see.
dallying?
That reason that resource is fabulous. Let me see here. Don't necessarily see any more questions. Oh, this is an interesting question, but how long before certain jobs fade out? I know you had a sort of a slide on that, sort of the top growing jobs and then sort of the ones that are diminishing. Is there any sense in terms of like timing, or is it just sort of trending?
This is trending, right? Because this
Mm,
is the data that is from the World Economic Forum, right? So I don't have anything like that, but we know that it's happening. And once again, watch your industry, find out what those professional associations are in your industry. They are always doing research of their own because it is so specific to their industry. That way you can know and understand. Administrative functions are, that's in every business, but it really depends on the company as well. If there are insights or tools that companies have to pay for, it depends on their budget, right? Do they have the budget to buy something that's going to replace the administrative staff? So that could be one thing. But again, it may not replace you. It may be that you have to, it might just transform what that looks like, but you want to be aware of it. So the first place I would say check is in your professional associations first for your specific field, and then understand that smaller companies are probably going to keep their administrative staff, whereas bigger companies might be more impacted by automation. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm resetting the results now. I'm sorry I was so slow with that. I'm going to pull back up that slide. And I don't know if you all want to go back up to the top of that page to do that, but it looks like people are already starting to vote. Yeah. So let me, the votes are starting to come in. I'm going to switch screens, I think, because for whatever reason, oh, I see what's happening. Here we go. I do want to see these numbers. We probably have a few people, but I think this is
But no, this
wonderful.
has been fabulous. It was a great idea. And it's coming us right to the 6 o'clock mark. So
Awesome. It's a good way to end, right?
exactly. So
Now,
while those are
I don't know if the laggards or late majorities have dropped out. The numbers are different. They are lower here,
okay.
but we do have less in the late majority and laggards. But then we have less in all of those areas. So,
Well, I
um,
think it's a great way to, like you mentioned, so we know how we started, and then I think now everybody has sort of the like those little AI seeds we talked about to sort
yes,
of let that grow and see where you fit and kind of think about this as you kind of move
yes.
forward from this. So fabulous. Love
Well,
to
I'm
see
looking at the
it.
numbers and I'm so happy that you all stuck around. Thank you so much. As mentioned, you can link in with me. I'm about to go on a sabbatical where I'm going to immerse myself into research on AI so that we can continue to bring the very latest and up-to-date information to you. But reach out to career services, everyone. I'll put the email in the chat box. I know we're a little over, but reach out to them and see if they can you can have someone reach out to you, .edu. And I hope that you all have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for
Fabulous.
having me.
Yes, absolutely. What a great place to stop. So thank you so much to
Thank
you,
you.
Sonia, for this wonderful session. Thank you to Haley, who helped us in the chat. And just thank you to all of you for just attending and participating and putting yourself out there. We hope to see you. We have one more session left of our Leads conference, which is about emotional intelligence, which we kind of talked a little bit about tonight. So we
Yes.
hope to see you at 8 p.m. tonight Eastern Time. And then there are some helpful chat links that you can also get that Haley just popped in there too. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Haley.
Thank
And thank you all.
you.
You have a great rest of your night.
Have a nice night, everybody.